something that's always been interesting to me. A job can fire you, and the managers and the bosses, whoever, can treat you terribly, and you'll still go look for another job. A business can fail, you can start over or start another one. You can fall off a bike or learn some new skill and you'll get back up and try again. You listen, some people go to the gym, try it out, they're sore, they still come back. But let one person hurt you in a relationship, and suddenly people start saying things like, oh, I'm never getting married again. I'm done with friendships and I don't need anybody. And when you think about it, and then for me, it just doesn't make sense. So somebody hurt you and now you're willing to give them control over the rest of your life. And I'm gonna tell you how this conversation came about. But first, let me introduce you. Good morning, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Tarnissha Sass, your host of Self Love Sundays with Sass, where we come every single Sunday to talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And this week we're talking about this subject because I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and he went through a divorce, as did I. And I know a lot of people, will have, talk about relationships and moving forward, dating. And all of a sudden, everybody's ready to give up. Oh, I'm never getting married. I'm willing to shack up. I'm willing to be in a relationship for the rest of my life, but I'm not willing to get married again. When we were having the conversations, it wasn't ringing my bell. It just wasn't making sense to me. And I was like, yo, the enemy is so slick. And this is for my believers. And a quick disclaimer, I'm not here to tell you who or what to believe in. I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You don't have to. Whomever you believe in, whoever you call your God, is okay. And I hope that you stay and stick around for the message, because it is still a great one, regardless to belief. Because the truth of the matter is, I don't care what you believe in, we were not meant nor born to be alone. And the enemy is slick because, again, you'll go on that job. People will lose money. They'll never say, "Oh, I'm never going to make money again. I'm never going to get money again," or "I'm never going to feed myself again." It doesn't make sense. So you have to start to question. This is what I said to my friend, and this is what I'm going to say to you today. I'm not here to try to change your mind. I'm here to have you question, because the thing is, sometimes we got to question the things that come up in our mind. We got to challenge it sometimes to say, but why is that? Where does that come from, that now, because I'm getting divorced, or I've been divorced, or our friendships fell apart, why is it that you say, I'm never going to get married again, I'm no new friends, and I don't need? Where does that come from? You got to start to ask yourself some questions. And you might have to start to ask yourself, who am I, that, and what am I, could possibly put in this earth, that now I have this thought that I should be alone. And we're going to get into why that is, because the truth of the matter is, one bad experience, or any bad experience with a person, 1 to 10 people, I don't care how many it is, when there's 4 million on this earth, right? Probably more than that at this point. I'm just guesstimating because I didn't do my research on that. But it should not become a life sentence. Do you realize that? Do you realize that after you come out of a situation, you say what you're never going to do again? You're doing that based upon the relationship or relationships with those particular people. And now you're serving a life sentence in prison, in a prison that you built for yourself based upon these other people. Man. And because you're building permanent walls based off of temporary pain. One person hurting you should not cost you the relationships that were meant to help you to rise. You have to really think about that. And I know that, especially if you are in your 40s, 50s, 60s, there's been a lot of people that you've been around that haven't been the people for you. So I realize when I say one person, I'm just talking about the simple fact of, you have to start to ask yourself, though, what is it that the enemy is trying to keep me from, that now I have thoughts of no new friends, and no, I'm never, and I'm not saying marriage is for everyone. However, what I will say is, come to learn what marriage is truly for, what it's about. You understand what I'm saying? Like, God will get the glory from the story if you allow it. And we're going to talk about, sometimes it's just the fact that we're not in alignment or with the right person. But we'll get into that a little bit more. And I hope you stick around because today, because I hope that the opening of this was enough to start to make you think, why am I speaking that curse, that bondage over my life? Right? Because the enemy doesn't just attack relationships, he attacks the belief that relationships aren't worth it. He attacks that belief by telling you, I'm sorry, that relationships aren't worth it. Right? Because if he can convince you that people aren't worth the risk, guess what's going to happen? He's going to isolate you. And once you start to isolate yourself, guess what you lose? Encouragement, sharpening, accountability, and alignment with people who are supposed to go along with you to help you grow in your journey. And this is the truth of the matter. Everybody's not meant to stay the entire length of the journey. And I get it. We have attachment and we become attachment because we start to love them. And I understand that. And just because you love someone doesn't mean that they get to come along with you their entire length of the journey. At the end of the day, people are going to come and go out of our life consistently, as some of them are supposed to. And then some of them leave our life by passing away. That doesn't mean that we stay tied to that particular point in time in our life, because that's exactly what you do when you do that. I hope you understand that the moment that you say, I'm never going to get into a relationship again, I'm never going to date again, I'm never going to get married again, I'm never going to have new friends, that's the moment you tie yourself to that particular point in time in your life. And for those of us who are believers, let me tell you something. Ecclesiastes 4:9, right? And I'm going to pull from the message version of the Bible. It says, it's better to have a partner than go at it alone. Share the work, share the wealth, and if one falls down, the other helps. But if there's no one to help, tough. What is that saying to you? We were not meant to do this life alone. I've said this many times before. If we were not meant to have companionship and partnership, Adam wouldn't have need Eve. It could have just been him and Jesus, because I love when people say that too. It's just me and God. And sometimes it's going to be that for a season of your life. That is a very true statement, but it's not meant for the entirety of your life. And isolation doesn't protect the future. Actually, it shrinks it, because the right person with the right word at the right time can change the entire trajectory of your life. Ask me how I know. The truth of the matter is, you know it too. It's just the fact that we're so busy trying to protect ourselves. And it's not, let me just say this. I understand how the brain works. The brain goes into protect mode. I don't want to feel hurt again. I don't want to feel pain again. So now I'm going to protect you by telling you things, right? Like, because sometimes we think it's the enemy. Sometimes it's just you. Sometimes it's you holding on to beliefs that don't fit anymore. When you start talking about, what you're never going to do, you could be potentially blocking your blessing. What if God was sending someone in to love you the way that you saw the vision of the way you were to be loved? It's so funny because, a lot of my friends, and I have a lot of guy friends that I'm close to, as well as girlfriends too, but they'd be like, man, the way you talk and the way you believe, because I know the vision that God gave me. I know that he didn't design me to be alone, nor am I going to be. I know I'm going to be married again. I'm not going to allow, certain people to come in my life in a certain season to stop me from what I know God has for me. Because that don't make sense to me. I know that two are better than one. I know that when you have someone there that you can bounce ideas off, yo yin and yo yang, that can help you grow. Now I'm gonna give a disclaimer here and say, please understand. I'm not talking, if people who've gone through any sort of verbal and physical abuse, I understand why you may say the things that you say. I understand that the hurt and pain, and I understand it because I've been through it. I'm not one of those that come and talk every single Sunday, or you hear these videos that's just talking from theory. I've been through some pain, baby. I've been through I'm talking about bad relationships. I've been through burying my two sons. I've been through burying my aunt, who was like a sister to me. I've lost some big things. things in my life. And still, with all of that, I say, God, I know what you still have for me, because I'm not going to block my blessings of abundance of love, health, wealth, knowledge, wisdom based upon what somebody who was temporarily in my life may have done, or I may have invited. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I need you to understand that from John 10:10, that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And he will kill, steal, and destroy your very dream that God has given you of these people who again come along your journey to help you to go to that next level. Maybe not meant to go to levels, 7 through 10, but they're here to help you through levels 1 through 3. And if you've been around for a while, you've heard me talk about the levels. There's levels in this thing, right? So just suppose there's 40 levels in life. Some people are not meant to go from 1 to 40. There may be some that do. I look at my parents. They've been together since high school. They obviously, my father was meant to go through all 40 levels with my mother. Okay? So some people do, but there's some that don't. Her sisters who she's buried, her brothers who she's buried, and her friendships that have come and gone. They weren't meant to go. She has one girlfriend, her girlfriend Gail. They've been friends since high school. Obviously, Gail was meant to stick around for them levels, but not everyone. But what you cannot do is allow the enemy to steal that joy from you. There is great love. The problem is now that this person has come or this thing has happened, you refuse to believe it. So now what you're building is quiet resentment. You say you forgive, but that's not the truth. You still are holding on, because forgiveness is the release of them so that you can then walk forward and move forward in your life and build something beautiful. And I'm telling you, isolation is one of the enemy's biggest strategies. I'm going to get this person. I don't need anybody. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you ever get around somebody that says, I don't need anybody, that's not the person to be around, because that's simply not the truth. We all need one another. Like, you have to really stop to think about it. There are some people that I've met. I remember when I first came to corporate America, I knew nothing about a corporate. I had some managers that were the best people. They're still not in the company today. Here I'm still in the company 29 years later. I'm going on 29. 29 years later, I'm still in the company. Why is that? They were not meant to stay, but they were meant to be a bridge to help me to get from when I first, because I worked my way up. First came in I was like, they called a what is it? The entry level. I came in entry level. Some of them were there to help me get to my first promotion. Some of them were there to help me get to my second promotion, but they're not around anymore. I'm not saying because they left. Oh, I don't want no new managers, because it sounds crazy. The enemy knows if he can separate you from the right people, he can slow down your purpose. And I'm going to tell you right now, the enemy start this, but you carry it on. Because we're not going to keep giving the enemy credit. The enemy may start it, right? By whatever happens between two people. But you decide, here you are 10 years later, still talking the same thing. Here you are 5 years later, still talking the same thing. Some people 15, 20 years, still talking the same thing. It doesn't make sense. So now it's no longer the enemy, it's you. It's just like that analogy that I gave when I grew up. My parents would beat me with a belt. Now I'm beating my own behind. When you stop giving yourself grace, when you stop giving yourself mercy, when you stop showing yourself love, now you're beating yourself. So the enemy starts it, but you continue it, right? Because you think you're protecting your peace, but sometimes you're protecting your wounds. I'm going to say it again. You think you're protecting your peace, but you're really protecting your wounds. And I'm going to tell you something else. When you hear people say, "Oh, I just want peace," be very wary, because most of those people there's chaos within them. I'm not a person that walks around and says, "I need peace," because I created. I'm not a person that walks around saying, "Oh, I need peace." I create the peace. If there's no enemy within, there can be no enemy without. So most times those people are in chaos within themselves. They haven't done the work. They may have done some work, but they haven't done the work. What is the work? Get yourself into therapy. Get yourself with a coach. Get yourself in a different environment. Get yourself around different people. Get yourself in a beautiful community. Those who are going to challenge you to be better than you are today. not by beating you down, not by making you feel worthless or insecure. No, but by holding up that mirror to help you get to that place that you said that you desire to be. It wasn't that just that God gave you the vision. It's that you said you wanted some things. And if you think that you can get there alone, you are sadly mistaken. And stop using God too. I'm going to say that today too. Because Jesus never model isolation for us. The truth be told, he could have done everything by himself. It could have just been him and his father. But he didn't. He chose 12 disciples. He traveled with them. He taught them. He corrected them. He did life with people. He loved them. The only time you saw Jesus go away was when you heard about him. You know, he would depart to go to a quiet place, right? Why? Because there was times that he needed to be with just him and God, right? 40 days and 40 nights. 40 days and 40 nights. He didn't go away for 10, 12, 15 years. You feel me? Like, and if you don't, I'm going to need you to today, okay? He didn't, 40 days and 40 nights. Some of y'all on 40 years. Like, what are we doing? I know women who are in their 60s still single based off of old hurt and pain. It doesn't make any sense. And so there was a scripture from Matthew 18 and 20, right? From the Message version of the Bible. When two of you get together on anything at all on earth and make a prayer of it, my Father in heaven goes into action. And when two or three of you are together because of me, because if you are a believer, you should be believers, right? You can be sure that I'll be there. What is God saying to you? He's saying with two or more gathered that he's not telling you to go at it alone. Even the Son of God moved with people. You over here talking about I don't need people. You have to ask yourself the question, where does that come from? So when you start saying I don't need anyone, you really got to ask yourself a real question. If Jesus surrounded himself with people, what makes you think we're supposed to do life alone? If Jesus himself, not just from a teaching standpoint, because he did go out and teach the people, right? The sheep shall know my voice. People came because of what God sent him there to do. God is trying to send people because there's something that you are supposed to give and something that you're supposed to do. You ain't even get into position because you're so busy talking about what you're not going to do. So therefore, what you're doing is telling God, forget your will, my will be done. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting, my believers? My non-believers, I understand that you have to begin to walk your walk to understand some things. And once you start to build that foundation, you're gonna start to understand. This is why you got to read the Bible for yourself. This is not what anybody gave me. This is what I researched and went into myself. Because I myself started to get into that because I came out of some very hurtful relationships. But then I realized what the Lord put on me and what he put in me. And I know why the enemy wants to stop it, because he don't want me to show up here every Sunday and tell you what I'm telling you right now. Because he don't want me to tell you that even Jesus walked with people. So what makes you think you're supposed to walk it alone? God designed purpose to move through people. Therefore, there's somebody that has something even for you, not just what you're supposed to give, but what you're supposed to receive. There is love that you're supposed to receive. There's joy that you're supposed to receive that's going to come through people. God sends people. The enemy does too. So we got to talk about that as well. But you cannot say you want kingdom impact while rejecting kingdom community. That community is everything. The community that you're building as well. How in the world do you want kingdom impact, but you want to reject kingdom community? And the community starts in your home, with your husband, with your wife, with your partner. Wow, like you have to really ask yourself that. You think a God, your father who loves you, wouldn't have somebody that's designed and destined for you? You think not? That can bring you the love. And sometimes we have to go through, and I know you don't want to hear it because I didn't want to hear it either. Sometimes we got to go through the lesson to get to the blessing. I think about all the things that I had to go through in my life to get me to where I am today. 322 a month, welfare mother, inner city, straight poverty mindset to get to the abundance of where I am right now. There was people that had to come along the way, because the thing is, you cannot learn all lessons in isolation. The very things that you think you are healed, you won't know it until you bump up against something someday to see that you're really healed. I had to learn that. Me and my son went to go get produce, and I was in the line, and I went to ask the young lady. I was like, "Oh, are you open?" Because I didn't see, because there was a line, and she, I mean, was nasty. And my the old me, Jesus, would have went in. But that's when I know that I've evolved beyond some things, and I wasn't gonna make her whatever she was going through personal. I just said, "You got it, you got it." Not all the time am I gonna say you got it, but that's how I felt in that moment. Like, nah, God has, I'm bigger than that. Just because she displayed that, I don't have to display that, right? But I want you to tell. I really want to get here today. The real issue isn't people; it's alignment, though, right? So let's talk about it. The problem is the relationships are bad. The problem is we also often choose people without our core values being in alignment. There's a show on Netflix right now, and it's I think it's called Blue Therapy. And there's a young woman, she wants to marry a man. Clearly, with on the couch with those two, she's been with him now for I think 7 years. They are completely out of alignment. She values family, she values tradition. I want to say she's African or Haitian. I can't think. But she's tied to family. She was brought up to believe that you care for your mother and father, you send them money. She has all these. She was brought up in the values and the traditions of being married, having a family, not being shacked up. He, on the other hand, doesn't value family. He doesn't believe in sending money. He only believes that I just need one person in my life. Their values are completely opposite. And she's sitting on the couch in therapy, and she's hurt because she wants this man to marry her and to be with her, but they cannot. They are complete. Their value, there is literally no value, no alignment in values other than the fact that they create content together. That's it. And so when values don't align, eventually respect breaks down, the trust erodes, and resentment builds, because I don't believe the same things you do. Even spiritually, she had a belief that he didn't have. Unequally yoked. It doesn't work. So it's not that relationships are bad, it's that we are not in alignment. We're with each other. So the answer isn't shutting everybody out. The answer is discernment. Don't force people to change, and don't try to fix them. It's not your job. And if you need them to change to be who you need them to be in the moment, they're not your person. And we all grow in relationships. So let's be clear on this too. I'm not saying that you won't grow in the relationships, and you have to be with someone who's willing to grow with you. You can't force anybody to change, and you shouldn't want to. You can't try to make them into who they're not. If they're a person who don't value any of the things that you value, you just have to say this person isn't aligned with me. Now it's different if the person says, "Hey, listen, I've never came from a family like that. I don't know what it's like to have a family like that. I want to learn what it's like to have a family like that. That's something I desire to have." Now that's different. That's somebody who's showing up saying, "Hey, I'm ready. I just never had this before." The song from is coming into my it's playing in my head. Teach me how to love. I think that's my music soul child. Teach me how to love. Show me the way. You know what I'm saying? How to surrender my heart. It's like, cause girl, I'm so lost. There may be that, but that's different. That's somebody who's saying to you, "Hey, listen, I want to learn, and I want to learn you, and I want to learn this." That's different. But if they're not willing, that's not what they want, then you're out of alignment. So so it's just to recognize that you're no longer aligned, even in friendships. That you may start at one place, and now, like, I know, like, you get to the point where I'm not really drinking, partying, and smoking and doing all the stuff that I did. It's not because I'm better. It's just that I'm different. I've changed. I'm into something different now. I'm into growth. I'm into my personal development. I'm into learning about the subconscious and the conscious mind, and quantum leaping and jumping in the Lord. That's just where I am. It doesn't make those people bad. We're just not in alignment right now. And if ever that comes a time that, I don't know, if sometimes people go backwards or they move forward, whatever, we in alignment, but we're just not right now. I used to be with a group of girls. Well, guess what we did? We gossiped. We talked about people, their hair, their this, their that. It was horrible. Real talk. I did it. I'm no longer in alignment with that. Because the truth of the matter is, why do you gossip about people? Because you don't like yourself. Nobody's going to be honest about that. I'm honest enough to say it. And so you have to say, I'm no longer aligned with that. And I'm still not going to make them bad or me better. I'm just in a different place. And now you got to move forward, right? Your tribe is, your tribe is not everyone. And sometimes it's not the people that you coexisted with in a certain season, but your tribe does exist. Oh, it does exist. I had to learn that. I was a part of different communities. I know you guys, if you've been around for a while, you heard me talk about Eric. It's E.T. the hip hop preacher, Eric Thomas. I was a part of his community. He got me started. Billy Allsbrooks, I used to be a part of his community. I moved through Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now I'm with evangelist Latrice Ryan. I'm also in another group called the Mary and Martha Collective. And then I have my core six that we talk and meet every single Thursday. How do I allow myself to say no new friends? Oh my God, I wouldn't be where I am today, getting ready to host my very first retreat on April 30th. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have written the books that I've written. It's because of those communities. It's because I refuse to let the enemy keep planting that seed. Because here's the thing, he plants the mustard seed of doubt and fear in your mind, and you water it. I refuse. And I'm not telling you it's easy. I cry some days, y'all. I scream, I holler, but I refuse because I know what God has for me is beautiful. And I know what God has for you is beautiful. You know? What does go what does the Lord say? Can two walk together unless they agree? That's Amos 3:3. But he's talking about two walking together. And he said, unless they agree, that means our values has to be aligned. You have to at least want the same values, even if you don't know what it's like to have it. And it says, walk with the wise and become wise. Proverbs 13:20. You have to understand that everything that you desire is out there. But you can't allow a temporary pain to permanently stop you from what's there for you. And you always have to remember this too. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Bad company corrupts good character. You have to be mindful. Because sometimes if you start to get around people, you start to hear yourself. You start to hear the things that are coming out of your mouth that are negative, that's pushing you back and pulling you back from your destiny, from your purpose. You know that God gave you something, and now this you feeling negative, or now you talking about people, and now you're gossiping, and now you're arguing, and now you're fussing, and now you're fighting. You're going to have to ask yourself some questions. Why is this happening now? Where is this coming from? We know the old saying, birds of a feather flock together. If you're around five broke people, you're going to be the sixth. And I'm talking about broken spirit, broken mind, broken heart. Because they're going to start to say things like, yeah, girl, this is why I'm not dating. It's pee in the pool. And all these men are bad and all these women are this. These people out here who have these podcasts, I swear to God, I pray God start to shut down these mics. Because they're just spewing a bunch of negativity from a hurt place because they haven't done the work. Discernment says, this isn't my tribe. Isolation says, nobody is my tribe. Discernment says, me and this person, we're just not in alignment. Isolation says, I'm never dating again. I'm never getting married. What? We got a bunch of single, and I'm talking to my community too. It's like you gotta think, y'all. I need y'all to put on your thinking caps. Why is it in our community? The Asian community are still getting married. They still get it, two or more, right? The Hispanic community, they're building, right? The Caucasian community, they're building. The top 1% in the world, majority of them have wives. Why? But we're the only community that is loud and proud with it. You gotta ask yourself some questions. What do they know about Black men and women? The enemy, what does he know about our power, about our magic? What does he know? You put a bunch of us together, the creative minds, the creative spirit, the creative heart. From the beginning of time, they've been trying to hold us back. Let's go back to slavery. You got to ask yourself why. And you have to ask yourself then, why are you allowing this to continue? Why don't we turn the axis around and say, no, I need my Black man. I need my Black woman as friend, as in friendships, relationships, in community, as well as in marriage and in partnership, right? You got to ask yourself why. And let me be very clear. I have so many great people in my village of all different backgrounds. I'm the girl who moved from inner city to suburban, so my little suburban community that represents all different backgrounds, creeds, colors, and everything. I love everyone. And I'm going to speak to my community today because we got to understand what's happening. You're not thinking. Not everyone is meant to go. Understand that. But someone is meant to walk with you. Someone is meant to cover you. It's about the covenant. Do you know what it is to have your husband pray for you as you go out here and do the things that God has aligned for you? Do you know what it's like to have your wife pray for you as you go out here, black man, to do the thing that you need to do in this world, in your job, in your community, as your provider, protector? That covenant is everything. And you missing your covering because of somebody who wasn't supposed to stay in your life. You're missing your covering because of friendships that was. This is what going to the church is about. It's about getting around a community of like-minded individuals. It's not about the church. First of all, it should be confirmation for what God told you if you in your Bible when you go to church on Sunday. You are the church. You don't really, the going into the house is about the community. Come on, y'all. Understand your community will not require you to shrink who you are, to hold back. It will actually open you up to all of who you are. The good, the bad, and the ugly, honey, because we are all sides of all things. And that's the beautiful part of us. Don't you dismiss that part. I don't dismiss my knuck if you buck part. Because if I knuck, I am going to buck. I don't dismiss that. God gave that to me for a reason. Because he knows I'm a fighter. I'm a soldier. And when I rock with you, I rock with you. It's a real thing. He also trusts me with this. He knows despite how I'm feeling, I'm going to show up here and I'm going to give you his words. And if it wasn't for the people in the community in my life, I may not have. Y'all got to hear me say this. It's going to cost you something when you give up on people. When you say, I'll never trust again, what you're really saying is the people who hurt me now control the rest of my life. You're giving them control over the rest of your life. You may not want to believe it, but let me tell you something. Tell the truth. Shame the devil. They are dictating your future because you're in fear. You're in fear of pain. It's listen, that is too much power to give to somebody. That is too much power. When you say you don't need people, the truth is you're just afraid of being hurt again. Because listen, love has always required courage. And courage starts with healing. Healing doesn't stop you from loving. Y'all gotta understand when we talk about healing, I'm like, what y'all talking about? The most healed people out here, the very people talking about I'm healed, but I don't, but no new friends and never being married and never doing it. What? Healing doesn't stop you from loving. Healing helps you to find the courage to open your heart again, to trust again, to believe the right people that's meant for the right time of your life exist. That's what healing is. It's loving yourself enough to say that that person is not going to dictate the rest of my life. I'm going to grow discernment now. I'm going to say, oh, we weren't aligned. I'm going to trust my intuition last time because truth of the matter is I felt in my gut this person wasn't really for me, but I wanted to try. And that's okay. It doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't make you any of those things that the enemy will plant in your mind. I know people say, well, you just don't know your worth. Well, maybe I didn't in that moment. But the truth is I still took the leap. It took courage to do that. I learned. I moved forward. And if we're really honest, especially for those who are believers, when the hurt comes, sometimes we even get mad at God. Because I'm going to tell you, I was. I'm going to tell you the truth. Tell you the truth. Mad. Like, God, I prayed. I asked you. I didn't do this on my own. And it still didn't work out. But the same courage it took to remember that He is our Father, He would never hurt us, is the same courage we have to build to believe He still sits on the throne and He has the right people out there for us. That's our Father. You think your Father, and I know some people may not have had a real father in their life, so they kind of feel like they're an orphan, but you are not. Oh, God loves you, and your Father will never hurt you. He will never leave nor forsake you. And He has the right people out there for you. And today is the day we just got to get real because God can't help us heal what we refuse to reveal. You got to get honest about that. Why am I saying that? Ask yourself honestly. I had to ask my friend, why are you saying that? Because when you think about it, you're saying that because your ex-wife was so bad for you. She cheated. She did these things. It was terrible. It was awful. Yes, and it was hurtful. But that just meant that she wasn't your person. That just meant that she needed help. I'm not going to judge that woman. Why? Because I've done some bad things. See, this is where we get it twisted. I'm not going to sit up here and call her all kinds of names. No, I'm going to say that she did what she did. She need to go get help. And and I never told him to have empathy, all that stuff for him. No, you do what you need to do. But I'm not going to let one person dictate my entire future when I know what God has for me. But if you don't acknowledge the truth of your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, and keep pretending, oh, you strong, let me tell you something, you're going to keep building those walls around your heart. And everything that he has for you, he's not going to be able to get to you. Because those walls, they don't just keep pain out. They don't just keep pain out. They keep the right people from getting in. Oh my God, my favorite scripture, Proverbs 27:7. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Do you know your God given spouse will sharpen you? And then it's not going to be all, rainbows and unicorns and that either. We're not delusional over here because we are meant to sharpen one another. Do you know what you could do in this world with the right community? That you can how it can help you build that business. It can help you go far in your career. It can help you change your mindset. Because if you change your mindset, it's going to change your reality. And that means it's going to change your personality. It can help change your environment. It can get you around and away from those things that no longer serve you, those things that keep telling you to stay down here with me, but you're meant to go higher. Don't you know God is calling you higher? If you're listening to this video, God is calling you higher in this moment, but you won't allow him because you will not move because you're still staying stuck in that same place with that same thought, with that same person talking about, I forgive them. No, you did not. You did not release yourself. You're still holding yourself in that prison. It's time to let yourself out. It's not that God been gave you the keys. It's not that God won't let you out. You won't leave. You won't leave. I don't need anybody. Are you crazy? To build the business, you need people. To climb the corporate ladder, you need people. First of all, let's be very clear. It is God, you, and then them. Your relationship with your God is everything, true indeed. But if his father sent him to earth, surrounded him with people, you think you don't need it? What? Even God recognized who his son needed to be surrounded by for lessons and blessings. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, come on, come on. And I love this. Ecclesiastes 4:12. A cord of three strands is not easily broken. What is it? Who's third strand? God. You, your people, your person, and God is not easily broken. It's not easily broken. And I want to read the Passion version of the Bible because I love that. I actually it says one stand alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Do you hear me? When you are covered in the spirit by your spouse, I'm talking about nobody fixing your problems. I ain't talking about no because you're not broken. I'm talking about somebody who can stand back to back while you out here putting your purpose in this world. And it says, and the 3/4 cord is not easily broken. What? One standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Who got your back? Who got your back? A three cord. God said, a cord of three strands is not easily broken. That means he gets to be in the center of it. And he's bringing you other people. Come on, y'all. Sometimes the truth is, all this, we don't need people. The truth is, you're just afraid to be hurt again because you may have lost some people. And I'm not talking about just loss as in, you have to grieve the person because they're still living. Some people have lost their parents. My girlfriend, we had to talk about that too. It hurts. Well, if you lose your, I don't know what it's like to lose your mother or father. I'm so blessed that I have mine still living, and my father, but my grandmother who's about to be 90. I've lost my mom's side, a lot more on my mom's side. So the truth of the matter, sometimes it's that hurt of knowing that there's going to be loss, but you got to know that love takes courage, right? And God is going to surround you with love. Healing doesn't stop you from loving; it just gives you the courage to love again. If you don't feel that need to love again, then you're not fully healed, because we are meant to love. We are designed for that. Remember, God can't heal what we refuse to reveal. You got to get honest. You got to get deep. You got to ask yourself some questions. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to make you think. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to, because you know how that you got to ask yourself the question. The walls you protect your heart are blocking the people that are even sent to help you. Oh man, there's people who are sent along. I mean, I'm telling you, they're going one touch, and it's going to be healing. Evangelist, when she hugs us, oh my God, that woman hugs healing. My massage therapist, who I love beyond life, right? When I leave, I know my hugs are healing. He's going through something. He's looking at a new life. You understand that? A hug is healing. You better go get you one. But the moment you say never again, you hand your future to your past. Oh, I need you to hear me. The moment, the second you say never again, you hand your future to your past. Please know, y'all, I'm going to wrap this up because I know I've been going at it. I'm not here to change your mind today. I just want you to think. I want you to think, because the enemy has no new tricks. He has no new tricks. He just keeps repackaging the same ones over and over. That same thought you have over and over that's stopping you. That same feeling that's stopping you. It's not new. What happened was he planted the seed and you continue to water it. And you water it with proof. Let me tell you how you go get proof. You go listen to those same social media algorithms over and over again that tells you that you're right. Oh God, it's so awful out here. Oh, these people are so awful. Where's the algorithms of the good things? Because there's good things happening out here for people. It really is. Heaven is happening on earth for a lot of people. Why is it that you're only associating with the other side of things? There is duality for sure. We're not putting our head in the sand. I don't believe in that, false positivity. Absolutely not. And I know it's a lot of love. I know it is. He ain't built just a one me. Okay? and not and despite you guys just saw I just went through a break. Despite all of that, I went through what I went through. It hurt. Yes, I love them. Cool. And I'm still gonna keep moving forward because I know what God has for me. You understand? All right, come on, y'all. Because it's not the big thing that knocks us off course. It's the small decisions that we make after we've been hurt. I need you to hear me. It's not the big things that knock you off course. It's the small decisions you make after you've been hurt. That quiet resentment that's building inside of you. The silent walls. When you stop talking, you stop being honest, you start saying things like, I don't trust nobody. Trust God. Trust that you got if you gonna trust that He'll give you clothes on your back, food in your refrigerator, and shelter. You gotta trust He'll bring you the right people, and you can't be in a hurt place with your walls built up, so you won't accept them when they come in your life. Because sometimes He sends them and you push them away. Hmm. Sometimes it's not the other person. Sometimes it's you, baby. And I know it's tough, and I know it's hard when you realize that you've pushed somebody away that was sent to love you because you were hurt and they couldn't take it anymore. And that's okay. They still weren't meant to say, you know what you get to do in that moment though? Get to heal it, honey. You get to know you don't have to stay the same. You get to choose every single day who you want to be, how you want to be, and what you want to do. You can do it every single day. All right. But that decision to keep saying I'm done with people, I'm gonna need you to check yourself before you wreck yourself. But what if the very thing you're shutting down is the very thing that God planned to use to elevate you? That very community that you're shutting down, the very thing that stops you from even reaching out when you see my video, right? That'd be like, yo, maybe it's something about her. Maybe I need to get in a community like that. I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to say, if you feel it, why do you push away from it? I remember when I was planning this retreat, and I'm at the point where I'm good, with the retreat. People just, just him and Han, knowing it's for them, knowing it's the very thing they need, but because of hurt heart and because of their hurt, because their mindset, they think everything is a scam because of the way that they thought, they didn't go for it. Oh my God, what God is going to do in that room. Oh my God, what God is going to do when he puts, the everything in me that I get to put my hands on them. don't even understand. That's what it's like when you go get in the room. I'm not talking about getting in the room. Me, go find that community that's for you. Get in that room because God didn't make it just listen. It's a plethora. 4 million people on this earth. He got people out there for you. That's going to help you elevate. That's going to help take you to your next level. That's going to help you learn to think differently. That's going to help you question. That's going to help you read your word to understand. Don't just take it from me. Go read it for yourself. What what your next level is listen. What if your next level is connected to the people you haven't even met? You sit up there talking about what you're not going to do. What? What if your child is out there right now, but you stop showing up? You stop showing up for you. You stop showing up for your future. You stop showing up for the vision. You stop showing up. And then we're hiding behind God. Stop playing with me today. This is the one thing I don't do. Like I'm a Jesus girl for real. Don't go hiding behind God. Oh, God just want me isolated for a season. He didn't tell you for the rest of your life. Stop playing with me. Who in the Bible was isolated for their entire life journey? No, nobody around them. What? Stop playing with me. God said two is better than one. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. That's what he said. Two is better than one. Why? Because you need someone there to challenge the thoughts, to ask you the questions, to cover you as you walk through this earth. To, man, if y'all don't understand about marriage and the covering, to have somebody cover you in the spirit, whoo! It's so many happy married people out here. You know why they don't show you? Because when the happily married people get online, people start condemning them. They start tearing them down. The negative entities that they come. It's a lot of happily married people out here. It's a lot of people that are even happy in their dating life. I just watched a wedding yesterday, literally on TikTok, of a man and a woman who met last year and they got married. Now, do I know that their future is going to be perfect? No. What I do know is I watch two imperfect people come with all their stuff and say, I still choose you. And some of us are so hurt because we feel loved but never chosen. And I understand that. I understand what that feels like. When all your life you feel like you love people and they possibly love you, but they never chose you. That's such a crushing feeling. I felt that way in my past relationship. Like, damn, I know he loved me, but he didn't choose me, right? And then I had to start to really ask myself, where was that coming from? And I had to have a real conversation with myself about that. You understand what I mean? And so, let me tell you what happened. I was in my community with Evangelist Ryan. I spoke that out loud. You know why? Because the enemy had me thinking that, planted the mustard seed, and had me watering it, thinking I ain't chosen. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, yes, I am. Yes, I am. And not only will the right person choose me, I'm going to choose them, right? Like real talk, but I'm already chosen. God chose me. Man, but I had to get there. I had to go through that hurt. I had to go through that crying. I had to go through that pain to even ask myself those questions. So maybe the real question today isn't, do I need people? Maybe the real question is, am I allowing, this is for you, because maybe it's not, do I need people? Maybe the real question for you today, and you can let me know in the comments, is this true for you or not? Am I allowing past pain to keep me from the people God already prepared for my future? Am I allowing past pain, people, hurts, environments, thoughts, feelings, and emotions keep me from the people God already prepared for my future? Man, he's sitting there right now preparing your purpose partner, and you are refusing to allow them to come in the door today. So maybe that's the question for you today. And I pray that this helped you. I pray that you answered the questions. I pray that this caused you to think. And I thank you so much for coming here this Sunday. I can't wait to see you next Sunday. I hope you have the most amazing, amazing week, y'all. Bye now.